We're putting our second finger on the 3rd fret of the big E and our one finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. And we're plucking the E, G, and high E all together. And then you're going to hit that big E again. Then you're going to put your 3 finger down on the 3rd fret of the high E string, and you're going to hit that back to the big E. So all together we have. Then you're moving your 2 and 3 finger, and you're going to play the big E and the B together with your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the B string, and then you're going to hammer on to the 3rd fret of the B string with your ring finger. So B and big E together at the same time. And then you're going to take the 3rd finger away, and you're going to pluck the 3 on the big E and the 2 on the B string, and then you're going to pluck it again, the big E again, while you're pulling off of the B string. And then 2 times with the open G and 3rd fret of the big E. So for that chunk altogether is like this. Moving on, you're moving your 1 finger to the 2nd fret of the G string and your 2nd finger to the 3rd fret of the D string. And you're playing E, D, G, B all together. Then you have an open E and an open B together, and then the G string with the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and then an open E, and then you have an open G and an open E together twice, and then 3 times with the 3rd fret on the big E by itself. So that little chunk goes like this. Moving on, you have an open A, G, B, and E strings together, and then an open A, open E, back to an open A, and another A again. So far that sounds like. Then you're going to take your 1 finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the B string, and you're going to pluck an open A and then pull off to an open B string. And then an open A and a D together, and then 2 more A's. So that whole chunk sounds like this. Moving on, we have our 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and our 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the D, and you're plucking an E, D, G, and high E all together, and another E, 2 E's together, the big E and the little E, and those are both open. And then you're going to move your 2 finger to the 2nd fret of the B string, and you're plucking an open E and a B together, and then an E and an open B, an open E and an open B together, and then open E, and then open E and open G together, and then 2 more open E's. So that little chunk sounds like this. going to take our 2 finger and move it to the 3rd fret of the big E, and our 1st finger to the 2nd fret of the G, and you have big E, G, and little e together, and then another big E, and then you're going to put your 3rd finger down on the 3rd fret of the high E, and then hit a big E, and then we're doing this hammer-on dance again. So you're going to play the 3rd fret on the big E and the 2nd fret on the B string with your 1st finger, and then hammering onto the 3rd fret with your 3rd finger. And then you're going to play 2 and on the B string and 3 on the E string with your 1 and 2 fingers, and you're going to pull off the B string while plucking the E. So the right hand on that looks like this. Now I'm moving my fingers out of the way just so you can see what I'm doing, and then you have a 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the big E and an open G twice. That whole chunk sounds like this. So up until this point, I am palm muting the bass strings. This part of my hand is going over this part of the bridge to make them a little bit less. So open sounding, palm muted. So then you get more of a pronounced melody. See what I mean? Okay, great. Moving on. We have the 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the G string and the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the D, and we're playing an open E, a 3rd fret D, 2nd fret G, and an open B all together. And then an open B, another open B, 2nd fret on the G, and 2 open Bs. I'm sorry, 2 open Gs. And then you're moving your 2 finger over to the big E and you're playing 2 of those. So the part sounds like this. The rhythm of this is kind of unusual. Moving on, you have the 1st finger moving to the 1st fret of the big E and you're plucking the E, D, G, and B together. And then the 1st finger again on the big E, and then the high E open, and then GBE open. So that part sounds like this. Moving on, you're going to put your 2 finger on the 3rd fret of the big E and your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the B, and you're pulling off to an open B, and then 2 Gs, and then you're putting your 2 finger on the G and you're playing the 3rd on the E and a 2 on the G and an open B, and then an open high E, and then G, B, and E. So that little chunk sounds like this. Moving on, you're moving both the 1 finger to the 2nd fret and the 2 finger to the 3rd fret of the B and D strings. And then you're plucking an open E, big E, and D and B. And then you're going to pull off the B string to an open fret. I mean, to an open string. And then 2 open Gs. And then you're putting your one finger on the second fret of the G string, and you're plucking the big E, D, G, and B together, and then an open high E, and then G, B, and E, 2 open, open. So that little chunk sounds like this. And then we're moving on, and your first finger goes up to the first fret of the big E, and your second finger goes to the second fret of the B, and you're playing E, D, G, B all together, and then you're going to pull off to an open B. And then another open B, and then the one on the big E and an open G and B together, and then a 2 on the B and a pull off to open, and then an open high E and an open B. So that measure sounds like, so that little chunk sounds like. Moving on, we have the one on the big E and then an open D, G, and B together, and then the one on the big E again, and then an open high E, and then an open G, B, and high E. So that measure sounds like this. Moving on, we're finishing up here, and you're going to put your 2 finger on the 3rd fret of the big E and your 1 finger on the 2nd fret of the little b, and then 2 open Gs. Okay, that's everything. Let's have a play along. 3 and 4 and... time.